Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 432 of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I
30,
am your host.
33.
433? Okay, let's
Sorry.
do that again. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I am your host for this week, the Colonel Gables, the man, the myth, the legend himself. And joining me from way down in Iowa is Ginger Boy himself, Tyler Courtney. How you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. Doing good. Welcome to hell.
For those of you listening in, Tyler got himself a bit of a mood light, and so all of a sudden he's just like manipulating any and everything.
I'm having too much fun. I'm having just like, it's just getting crazy in here. It's a fucking rave, man. Things are. I don't know how to turn it off. All right, there we go. I got it. Yeah, sorry. Sorry for audio listeners. I got these Govi lights. Now I'm having way too much fucking fun clicking buttons. Ooh, I like that. But yeah, no, I'm doing all right, man. It's Friday night, you know. We're doing a little bit of a PrE3 podcast, which is fun. You know, we talk about all the shit that happened, you know, before the week and all that, and it's just I'm excited, buddy. Happy E3 Eve.
Yes, happy E3 Eve indeed, and by God, it definitely feels like we're on the cusp of a major E3 when we have already had big games released in terms of information, not in terms of actual releases, obviously, but we've had a couple of major things like either rumored or have already been announced. We will be shortly getting into it. But before even all that, though, in regards to that, we are on the Apple storefront. Our podcast is actually on Apple. Tyler
It took me
put in the
over
midnight
a
oil.
month.
He got him stuff. No shit, man. It took you a bit, but at the same time, that was more or less Apple's technicality in that regards, man.
Yeah.
But we are very happy to be back on the Apple's like a podcast and stuff. And obviously, we have our own Twitter feed, like Drunk Nerds Pod, I believe it is on Twitter.
Yeah, Drunk Nerds Pod.
All right. Forgive me, everybody listening in and stuff. I'm still getting used to just mentioning the social media feeds. You think I'd be adjusted to that right after like how many years of us doing this?
I believe we just celebrate 8.
Yes, 8 years. 8 years this month, actually.
Yes.
I believe.
Last
in
month,
June.
but well,
last month.
End of May, beginning of June. I just say anywhere pods are cast, anywhere on social media, just look up Drunk Nerds Podcast, Drunk Dash Nerds. You should find us.
But yes, we are on Twitter, Drunk Nerds Pod, like a YouTube, Drunk Dash Nerds and stuff. Also on Spotify, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast and stuff. But most importantly of all that and stuff, we are streaming here live on Twitch. So if ever you feel like the need, you want to watch us live, make sure to follow us. You want to go through and like just make sure your notifications are turned on. So if ever we go through and start recording live, you can actually watch us live and have a lot of fun in the midst of everything else.
Yeah. And I just want to say, if you're watching on YouTube, later on the video version, as long as nothing goes wrong with it, always goes up on there. If you just go down and click on the let me make sure I'm pointing here. Point like right down there and click the like button. It's right around Gables' junk area. So if you can click that button for me, I'd really appreciate it. And Gables would really appreciate it too. And then unclick it and then click it again just for Gables.
Oh God. We're just gonna have a mass amount of people just spamming the click.
Every time our videos get a like, Gables feels it.
Oh God.
He feels it in his loins.
All right. So in regards to everything, let us take care of a little bit of a side thing before we get into the main course right here. And so let us delve into what we've been gaming.
Okay.
I don't know about you, Tyler. I know there have been some big releases you probably would love to talk about right at this moment. I personally have not been gaming as frequently as I could be. I mean, for one, I wanted just to finish off my work week before going in on my week vacation that I got going on now. And I'll tell you what, man, work, I'm so glad it's done for the week. But to be perfectly honest with you, it's like, when it comes to the gaming stuff this week, I started Mass Effect 3.
Oh, okay.
I did not play a hell of a lot. I've only played maybe about 5 hours or so at most, which in terms of the Mass Effect games, that's barely anything, honestly.
No spoilers,
So,
please.
okay, there's no spoilers. Let's just say that right now I'm past the beginning point. There is a particular character that I do like I really liked and that I've been reintroduced to that I am fairly enjoying, especially with the back history and this and that, and that's Javik.
Yes.
I'm not I'm not going to go into too much of like the story elements of it, but for those of you unfamiliar, in Mass Effect 3 there's this character called Javik, right? He is a living, breathing Prothean and stuff. But I'm not going to go into details of how he survived or what goes into that because if you're playing through this game for the first time, I mean, hell, you should experience it for yourself. But honestly, I love the backstory of Javik. I love the various like abilities that he has, and he is going to be one of those mainstays because he's got that biotic sort of effects to where he has pull and stuff, and then you have like Liara on your team that does like a lot of the warp, the singularity stuff. So inside of this game, there are also trophies, achievements tied into doing different type of like combinations in terms of the biotic powers, and so that's going to be something I'm going to be looking forward to later. I have been playing a little bit more of Destiny 2, more or less because I want to get past the weekly bounties and all that other stuff, looking for good gear, looking for good weapons. But I'm already close to around level 60 of the season 14 game,
Hmm.
like pass and stuff. I want to go and maximize this whole gaming pass and stuff that I've got for this season. That's my end goal for it. But what I've also want to do is try to learn more in regards to how to make my Guardian better. And so, in order for me to do that, I end up learning something completely new that I did not even think about it when I first created my Destiny 2 character. And it took one of my friends that I usually game with to show this to me. He showed me a video on YouTube in regards to armor stats and the particular types of stats and stuff for each individual stat thing and how it contributes to making a good build of a character for say PvP or for PvE. So the most important stats for say like a PvP build, which is predominantly what I usually use, goes for mobility, goes for recovery, and goes for intellect. Now, all this time playing Destiny 2, I did the one major mistake that I usually do when it comes to RPGs if I first play it and I understand it. I make a balanced character,
Min
meaning
max.
all the stats are literally like half
Yeah.
of what they should be.
Yeah. Min max.
Yes, a mid max
Yeah.
sort of like stuff like that. And I end up discovering real quick when I go into certain things like Gambit or if I go into Crucible, I get smoked because the most important thing you have to have first and foremost is having a fast recovery rate. And if you get armor pieces that will allow you to get the like highest amount in that regards to its stat distribution, it will help you out tremendously. So with that new veil unraveled and stuff for me to sink my teeth into, I ended up discovering that yeah, there were quite a few pieces of armor I could just get rid of flat outright. And so now I've cleared out a lot of the haze in that regards. I had to ask a couple other different types of like players in the Discord that I usually follow for Destiny 2 and stuff. It's like what's the most important like stats you got to focus on? And they told me like the clarification of what I've like already like have information about, which was the recovery stat, the intelligence stat, and the mobility. So those are the three that you really need to focus on for PvE. PvP, you got to get the resilience up a bit because there are certain items like say this exotic weapon called Thorn that you can actually get two-shotted on PvP for that type of stuff. But yes, predominantly this week has been me going through getting bounties, getting all sorts of various stuff, completing different tasks, the seasonal triumphs and stuff for the season things. But at the same time, yeah, that's pretty much all I have been playing for this week. But I am fairly interested, Tyler, in your thoughts on what you've been playing this week. So without further ado, go ahead, man.
All right. So it's definitely been a weird week for me gaming wise. Cause like I've been playing through the Mass Effects, beat 1 and 2. I said
Yes,
last week I'm taking a break for a little while for 3 because a lot of
smart
shit's
move.
just kind of a little bit of a burnout on Mass Effect, and then also I didn't want to rush 3 or play a little bit of 3, then take a break because a lot of stuff came out. But oddly, before all of this happened, the new games came out this week. I just randomly beat Halo 4. I don't know why. I just I was just jonesing for something to play on Games Pass, and I just downloaded the Master Chief Collection. I'm like, I never beat 4. I beat 1 and 3. It's oddly enough, I played more of 2 than any of them, but I've never played the campaign because I remember going with
That
my
is
buddy.
so, dude.
Yeah, I don't
It's just
know.
so weird. You get like a random craving to play Halo 4. I
I
mean,
just was wanting to play like something on Game Pass, and I was just like, I just
okay.
wanted to jump into something to play some because I didn't want to jump into something that was too time consuming or some
Mm,
that needed my full attention um or if like I put 5 hours of this game, then I walk away and then to play the new games, and then I don't go back or whatever. So I just started playing Halo 4, and I remember playing like half of it when it first came out,
mm,
but
mm-hmm.
my when I got it like a week after it came out, but all my friends that were like hardcore Halo fans, um, like they had already beaten the game like 20 times by then, essentially, and we're just doing online and doing the some of the online missions and stuff like that.
Right.
So like I got so agitated, like I wanted to just play the campaign, but every time I jump into play, it was like, oh no, you come play with us. I'm like, I want to play the camp. No, no, no. Like, or why don't you guys play the game? Like, no, I already beat like 10 times. Let's do online. I'm like, no, I want to play the campaign. So eventually, I sold the game. I got rid of it because they would not leave me the fuck alone. So I never beat the camp, even though I remember enjoying it back in the day. I think I beat like 3 or 4 missions, and
Right.
so it's probably about halfway. And I was just like, I don't. You guys are annoying the fuck out of me. This is before I didn't realize you can like put yourself offline at this point,
Mm,
which I realized that later on, like because they'd spam the fuck out of me every time I go on and watch Netflix on my
right.
360, and
Oh
like, oh come on,
shit.
let's play Modern Warfare. I'm like, I want to, I'm watching. I just want to sit down and chill, watch, and they would just like spam me over and over again. So like, I'm like,
I hate that.
yeah. And this is like before like smart TVs were a thing. So it's like 360s were the streaming service that we had. But anyway, so I just like I'll check it out. I played through it, I beat it. It's good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. A lot more than I thought I would, but I enjoyed it. I want to jump into Halo 5. I was just kind of like I was like I should just play him before Infinite comes out. It's kind of thinking. And then I was just kind of like I watched like the Xbox press conference from 2019 on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's kind of what got me jump jump into Halo because of that. Um, but we have Final Fantasy VII. The PS5 upgrade came out Thursday with intermission. The DLC, the Yuffie DLC, it was $20. So I downloaded that. I haven't played it yet because I want to really really bad. But
Right.
Ratchet and Clank came out today. It's Friday night as we're recording this. Um, and I've only got to play about 2 hours of it so far, and I'm really enjoying this fucking game.
Mm,
Like I said, I'm very early on. I'm in like the first section, um, but this is the best looking game I've ever played. It is
hmm.
stunning, and with this they have a lot of the games like the PS5 games like so far like usually like a month or two later you get the performance with the ray tracing, like a month or two later. Like Miles
Mm-hmm.
Morales did the same thing where it came out you either did performance or fidelity or whatever. I think Returnal did the same thing, and then like later on they patch in. Demon's Souls I think had it too. They patch in the performance ray tracing setting. Well, this one had it
Right.
on day one, which is awesome. So you still got the ray tracing, you still got 60 frames per second. You're just playing it at I think it's like 2160 or whatever. It's like the fake 4K, whatever it's called. I'm not a
Right.
technical guy, but I am. It looks like top of the line, like Pixar, like animation. And it's beautiful. Like you always hear people like, oh man, like I didn't realize like I was out of the cutscene. Like I was just watching cutscene. Oh, now I'm playing the game, and it's like I like Last of Us Part Two had that to me where like the cutscene would end and you would like it seamlessly transitioned over, and this one's really doing it to me because like that's all like great like you because usually in games like this the animation and the cutscenes is way better. And these more of these like family friendly cartoony games like the cutscene is way better than the actual gameplay and it's seamless. It's holy shit beautiful. And it looks beautiful. The ray tracing like I'm not like I played the other games with ray tracing before, and it's like, it's kind of cool. But it's like this one, I don't know, it's getting me. Like, I'm like constantly like looking. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. Oh, that's fucking cool. I just keep looking around like that's fucking cool. I said that audibly multiple times now. But yeah, it's great. I talked about like I never played Ratchet and Clank before until 2016. Ratchet and Clank came
Okay.
out. I really liked that. I think it was like my number six game of the year that year. I think 2016, and which 2016 was a very good year for games.
Yes.
Yeah, this just way better so far. And it's just, not way better, but it's more Ratchet, which is I think really good. I think the story Rivet which is the female Lombite
Lombax.
Lombax. Thank you. Um, that you like interact with, and she's awesome so far. Uh, I immediately like I said, I've only played the first one, and I know there's like they have like a story that kind of follows through. Like it's like they kind of like it's serialized a little bit. It's not just like one game moves on to the next. Like especially for these like mascot games, like usually like a Crash Bandicoot or like a Mario. There's not like they don't really like there's no like a progressing story. Like all like each one's an individual thing. And this one I guess has it, but it's like I'm jumping in and I fully understand. Okay, like this is the main bad guy. I get what's happening. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's so far blown away. The weapons are really cool. I like when you go to like buy you can buy weapons and like you go to like the I can't remember the lady's name that you buy weapons from. There's a preview thing and they have like this awesome over the top narrator
Oh,
that
like a Mrs. Zircon sort of
Mrs.
thing.
Zircon. Yeah. That's it.
Yes.
Um, but like when you go to buy them, you can like preview it. And it has like this awesome over the top narrator, like showing you
Hmm.
like what these weapons do. Like I have like the pixelator, and so like where you can shoot them and they turn to like 16 bit, and a couple other ones stuff like so far. Like I said, I'm super early in the game. There's actually like it's like the areas are more. I don't know if it's like this in other ones, but it's like the areas like the main area I'm in right now is like more open. So there's like side things you can go do.
Okay.
I'm thinking this might be the main hub because there's like things like, oh, I can't. He like one point like I got with Ratchet where he's like, oh, I can't. I could do this later, but I can't do this right now. Kind of like a Metroidvania type thing where it's like
Oh, I
so.
see. That's cool.
Yeah, so I don't know if past ones have had that, but it's been kind of cool. Like I just like unlocked a new like dash mechanic so far. But yeah, like I said, I'm super early in the game, but blown away so far by it. I'm having a blast with it. I just need to um, try to find time in between E3 the next few days. I'm gonna be jumping in and playing that when I can. But yeah, uh, pretty much all I play. I did. What was awesome though when I downloaded the PS5 version of Final Fantasy 7, I imported my
Yes.
save, got all the
Hmm.
trophies from my
There you
PS4
go.
version, and then the Star Wars Fallen Order PS5 version came out today, along with the Xbox Series version as well. And then you import the save, got all those fucking trophies too. So I just got
That's
a
cool.
shit ton of trophies the last couple days and not done anything. So that's pretty like for 2 minutes of work. Yeah. So yeah, it's been it's gonna be a fun. The rest of the month is gonna be pretty good because I got Ratchet. Right after that, I'm gonna play Intermission, and then it's gonna tie in with Mario Golf at the end of the month. So
Dude,
it's gonna be a solid month.
June is an excellent time for game releases this year.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
mean, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, that's one. You have Mario Golf, that's coming out later this month, for Switch. The interlude, or whatever the heck you want to call it, for like Final Fantasy VII, that's out now for $20. And on top of that, I have a fair amount of interest in playing Guilty Gear Strive if
that just
ever
came
I
out.
find it.
Yeah,
Would if ever I could find a game like a game locally and stuff. I could buy it digitally,
yeah,
but on the Master System, man, I want to buy my digital. I want to buy my physical copy
yeah,
of Guilty Gear Strive. I may have happen to do Amazon for that shit,
yeah.
but
I,
anyways,
I have Amazon Prime. I might be able to add you to my thing so you can get free shipping. So
well, if you can, I mean, I'd
yeah,
appreciate it, but hey, no big deal.
remind me this weekend and I'll look into it because like I added my dad to it so he gets free shipping. So I'm sure there's like
Oh, okay.
a deal. So let me know or remind me. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, and then like we've had like I know we're gonna get to it in a little bit, but like, I was there's been a lot of trailers coming out. I've been watching like a lot of like indie game trailers,
Yes.
and there's fucking Sky, that game company, the makers of Journey.
Mm-hmm.
There's a game they made that like Apple hired them to make on mobile phones. Finally coming to fucking Switch on the 30th. So that's
Nice.
awesome. And then a few other cool looking games that I've been looking forward to finally got release dates. So and they're like in July and shit. So it's gonna be I mean, looking at all we had in July was fucking Skyward Sword. Yeah, July's looking up. Instead of just one,
Yes.
instead of a shitty Zelda game, we might have some good indie games.
But before we go on to the meat and potatoes, I'd just like to mention that you touched upon like the PS4 to PS5 updates to some games. You got a little bit of random like trophies and stuff.
Mm.
I, unbeknownst to me, downloaded the PS5 version of freaking Destiny 2.
Finally,
It just automatically did it
yeah,
for me. I'm like, I was playing on my PS4 version of it, but now I don't have to use my disc. I didn't have to anyway,
that's
but at
free
the
to
same
play.
time, I was using my freaking Forsaken like Destiny 2 disc that I bought like a year or so ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's digital on my PS5. First thing I noticed was the fucking frame rate of
Oh
it.
yeah.
I mean, Jesus
That was one of the
Christ, dude.
first games I checked out on my PS5 when like the cross gen games where I played them on PS4 before that. Destiny 2 was
Hmm.
one of those first games I checked out when the PS5 version came out. I'm like, oh my god.
It looks beautiful in motion. I have to give some kudos here to Bungie because shit, man, I made that playing that game even more engaging with
Mm.
that. But that being said, let's go on to our first order of business, and that is to go into the Summer Games Fest 2021.
Game Fest.
Game Fest?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
I hear a lot of people correcting it when people say Games Fest. So I just want to be
Okay,
that
so
douchey
Game
guy on
Fest.
the internet. Sorry.
So this was a 2-hour presentation hosted by Jeff Keighley. And I'll be fairly honest with you, there was maybe a handful of announcements that really kind of grasped me. The conference in and of it, not the conference, but the event in and of itself, the only thing I really remember for first and foremost, other than a couple surprises here and there, like the sequel to Salt and Sanctuary called Salt and
Yep.
Sacrifice, a Metal Slug game that looks on the cusp of being part Metal Slug, part XCOM.
Isn't it like is it called Metal Gear Tactics
Yes, it was
or
Metal Slug Tactics.
Yeah, Metal Slug. Sorry, wishful thinking.
I know, right? But yeah, like I said before, Salt and Sacrifice, the sequel to Salt and Sanctuary, Metal Slug Tactics. There was Project Lana that looked kind of interesting to me, but the the big elephant in the middle of the room that finally was addressed was with Elden Ring. And the biggest surprise coming out from that whole presentation, and honestly, that was the one game announcement to where I felt like that whole presentation was worth it, even though a large majority of it was pretty freaking meh or boring or why the hell is this even here?
Yeah,
January, late January
21st.
2022. Like January 21st. That is incredible. I didn't even know they were going to go back to this game because we've heard next to nothing about it since it was unveiled. But not only did we get that, but we got an actual release date. This From Software game, and the game looks fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great in motion. It has that sort of like Dark Souls-esque sort of like gameplay sort of. I've noticed a lot of good fantasy elements in it, but yeah, that was pretty much that freaking thing in and of itself. But Tyler, what did you think about the Game Fest?
Um, I I I wouldn't came away from it mostly positive. Like we're doing like a letter grade, it'd be like a B minus situation for me. Where it's definitely like it's kind of like the Game Awards and like really like a lot of E3s. It's very like there's definitely when you look at it from like a if you take your fandom out of it, I think it was a B minus. For me personally, not a lot clicked for me. But it's just like that for like like I said, E3 any of those. Like when you look at it from like your personal aspects, some hit with you, some don't. There's some people I'm sure that came away blown away by some of this. Um, but I thought it was okay. There was definitely some lulls in it. I never really like when they stop. Like I just like the flow of the way a lot of like we've gotten with like a lot of the E3 press conferences stuff like that. Where like really since like the directs where like it's been very like fast paced. We don't stick with something for too long. We might do a deep dive into a game, but there's no
Right.
like stop to talk to a producer or stop and do interviews. Like I've never been a big fan of that. I don't think a lot of people. It's just not like you can do that for like a couple things maybe. Like Kojima popping up, that's fine. You like Jeff Goldblum popping up, like okay, fine. But like you could do that, but it's like every single game we don't need a Q&A section for these things. Um,
Yeah, I could kind of understand in regards to the whole Q&A thing, or even like the little brief blurb and stuff by Hideo Kojima, because Jeff Keighley, Hideo
Gables,
Kojima, yeah, yeah,
Gables,
what?
9/11.
Oh my God. Oh my God. When he mentioned that and how the things changed after that, I'm like,
I
okay,
not
I don't know where
something
this is going.
not 9/11 was not on my bingo card for Summer Game Fest kickoffs. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that was so weird and out of left field, but that led to one of the most that probably the lamest moments I think I've seen in terms of a reveal trailer. And
Mm,
honestly, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and hear me out on this one. I mean, I for the whole unveil for the definitive version of Death Stranding for PS5 and stuff. I mean, I like the little tongue-in-cheek little reference to Metal Gear Solid and stuff, but when I look at it and I was watching it, I'm sitting in my chair just watching the thing. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen here? It's like, is this gonna be like a little stealthy espionage? Like he looks at the vent, looks at a box, dumps the box of oranges. He thinks about it, hops into the box, notices this is full size right there, and just leaves it, and then it just cuts. And then I'm like, that was some of the lamest shit I think I've seen.
I like when they it was based to me like it was kind of like a um I almost feel like to me like Kojima likes to fuck with people I know,
Yeah.
but it felt like it kind of like a goodbye to Metal Gear in a way when he put in the box in the shelf, put it, it says handle with care on it. Um, I'm like okay, like that kind of hit in the feels a little bit where it's like and maybe he's just fucking with us. I don't know, but it was like that
Yeah.
really felt like the goodbye, and it's like it's unfortunate it's tied to a shitty game, in Death
Yeah.
Stranding, um, but yeah, I don't know, like yeah, the director cut thing's been rumored for a long time, so I'm excited. I'm happy that it's out there. I'm just curious what the fuck that looks. It basically sounds like the PS5 upgrade will be tied into this director's cut. It's probably gonna be like VR missions. Um, but I mean, going back to like the elder, like we had the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was revealed finally.
Yeah.
That's been leaked forever now.
Let
Um,
me say, let me just say this though, in regards to the Tiny Tina Wonderlands and stuff, with the voice actress going through and trying to describe what the game
Ashley
is,
Birch, yeah,
she pretty much almost made it sound like it was like almost exactly what Borderlands is.
yeah. It's
Let me just say,
yeah. I mean, the problem is like you can't say it's exactly like Borderlands because if it's not called Borderlands, then it's a spin-off or it's just
yeah,
expanded DLC. So like I feel like she is in PR is in a tough position right now where it's like you look at like the pre-sequel that's obviously was a spin-off and it came out
yes,
and nobody really cared. Um,
yep,
and yeah, it's just, no one really cared about that. Now you're in this like where it's not called Borderlands, but it's called Tiny Tina, who's a character that's very much either you love her or hate her kind of situation.
yeah,
I liked her in Borderlands 2. I never played 3, but I liked her in 2. And I heard people like the DLC. Like she had like a D&D DLC pack that came
yes.
out.
Assault on Dragon Keep, I think it was
Yeah,
on the Borderlands 2. I thought was a
was
fairly
it 2
good
or 3?
DLC. It was 2.
Was it 2? Okay. But yeah, I know. There's a lot. She's probably one of the more popular characters out of it. I liked how they brought the unicorn back. Um, So, yeah, I mean it's whatever. I feel like she made the best of this situation where, and I'm an Ashley Birch fan. I love pretty much everything she's in. She did like Life is Strange. She's Aloy from Horizon. So take that for what you will. But yeah, I just she did. I think she turned she's trying to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. But
Yeah,
I do
pretty
want to
much.
mention Elden Ring though. It's like, God damn it, man! I wish I was good at these games because if I love the Miyazaki art style. I love
Hmm.
like when I play Bloodborne. I love the fight. I love the fighting. When I play games that do that fighting style, I love them. Like God of War 2018 is essentially their version of the Dark Souls, the Souls game fighting style.
Yes.
Fallen Order is a lesser version of that as well. Like when I play the games like that, I'm like, I just fucking love the style. It's just I don't have the patience for that fucking style. I don't like the live die repeat bullshit of it. It's just it's too frustrating. It gives me too much anxiety. I want to love it. I can't. I I saw someone say this on Twitter where it's like it just you don't need to put an easy mode in it, but just do the Celeste thing. You know, where like Celeste doesn't have an easy mode, but it's like they have all these different like things you can do to like these like you can slow it down or you can speed it up or you can double your hit points or whatever. It's like just yeah, that'd be fantastic. Like like Hades, I love the fuck out of Hades. It has a easier mode in it, and like so many like I just hate the get good people. It's like why wouldn't you want more people to like the thing that like my thing I always hate that when I'm a bitch about before. I know a lot of people have is like I don't understand why you like people want less people like I understand there's hardcores and that's great. Like I'm definitely a more hardcore fan about certain things than others, and it's fun to talk about hardcore other hardcore fans about certain things. But it's like I also would want more people to love the thing that I love. If I really are, I like
Right.
that. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you like? That just means that this company's gonna be more successful because more people will buy their games because it's more inviting to play these games. Oh, shut up, Blue. He's a big Dark Souls fan. He's getting pissed off at me about it. He's telling me to get good. Fucking dick.
Well, that's the thing about
Ooh,
games like Dark
Bloodborne's not
Souls
done.
or even
Fuck you,
like
Louis. Love you, Louis.
the thing about games like Dark Souls or even like certain games in general, it's like having more options is always a good thing in my honest opinion. Where
Mm,
it's like if somebody wants to play it on the hardest difficulty or the original purpose of the original difficulty that the creators set and wanted people to experience, I mean, yeah, go for it. But if you want to play a different experience in that regards to maybe a lower difficulty set or have a specific type of things, having those options to customize things, is one of the most engaging and one of the most like gamer friendly type of things you can present yourself with. I know Dark Souls has that reputation where it's like it's hardcore, it's verbo, it's like pretty much vague in terms of descriptions
mm,
or in terms of how you're going to go through and tackle things. I mean, it's a specific type of style that some gamers really like or really hate because of those same type of reasons and stuff. Though I can understand if you want to justify like having that specific experience just for that game in of itself, at the end of the day, it's like if you want more people to enjoy your content and stuff, you have to create or have more options in order for more gamers to experience the type of game that you want them to experience.
yeah.
You there's more than just having a specific difficulty setting in order to make something easier or harder for someone. Just have like dip switches or whatever the hell they are in
Yeah.
terms of like just switching different things on and off. I mean, if there's anything that I've experienced over the past year and a half in terms of video games, like even having like customizable things of how something looks or how things like that. Like one of the few positive things I liked about say The Last of Us Part Two was it
Yes.
at least had a bunch of accessible options in order for me to find things easier in regards to the visual things or visual cues or allow me to do things pretty much that honestly, if I could control something easier, if I wanted to manipulate things so I can have a AI thing a little bit harder here or there, I mean, I had free reign to do
Yeah,
so,
that's something
essentially.
that's basically standard now among all PlayStation first-party games. Miles Morales had it, Ratchet and Clank has it, accessibility shit. Like, yeah, I mean,
Right,
and that's more. That's also helpful for people that colorblind or people that like. There's a Steve Saylor. He's called the Blind Gamer.
right.
He's like legally blind, and he's a streamer and he talks a lot about like how great the accessibility has been between Xbox and also PlayStation games. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just my thing is like people are gonna say they did like a Celeste thing or put the baby ass baby mode in a Dark Souls whatever the next Souls game or whatever it is. People, yeah, those gamers, those hardcores that get good people, they're gonna bitch online, but they're still gonna fucking buy the game. It's like,
They're still going to buy the game. They're
yeah,
still going to play it through how they want to play it, which is if they want to play on the hardest setting or whatever the developer intended on. I mean, they have free reign to do so. It's their game. They get to experience it the way they want it to do.
yeah, just make that the standard mode, and then just do the other shit for everybody else, like me,
Yeah.
for fucking pussies like me. That's right, I said it.
But there is one other game before we move on to the next topic and stuff that I did want to say, and that was a game that I think was shown briefly. It was called Chicory, I think it was.
Oh, is that the one that
And
launched
Chicory,
yesterday?
yes,
Okay.
Yes, it launched yesterday on multiple systems. I've seen it on the storefront for PS5. The game in and of itself is like sort of this artistic sort of thing where you have a paintbrush and stuff, and you get to advance specific like points of the level by like doing little bits of problem solving. You're this dog with this paint stick and stuff, and it's like I think you take it or something from like this bunny and all this other stuff. But the artistic style of it looks fairly cool.
Yeah.
It was shown briefly in the Summer Game Fest like presentation and stuff, and I gotta admit it does look fairly cool. The conceptual like artistry and the level design looks smart. It's definitely, I feel like, worth like at least a playthrough just to see like if I do like the experience. I think the game in and of itself is like either 15 or 20 bucks right at this moment.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was one of the stealth releases that happened yesterday in that regards. But moving on, we had verification not only of the new Battlefield game, which is Battlefield 2042, but a release date was revealed, I believe, today, and it's for October 22nd.
Correct.
I saw the initial trailer, the unveiling trailer of Battlefield 2042, and I'll be perfectly honest with you and stuff. It it didn't really appeal to me per se. I think it was kind of like hilarious and was. I mean, I got some form of entertainment out of watching it though, but the actual gameplay stuff they're more than likely going to show obviously either during the week of E3 at some presentation, maybe at like say the Microsoft, the PlayStation, or just the Microsoft ones, but the PlayStation doesn't have like a or like a presentation going
Yeah.
on during this coming week. But it's more Battlefield. It's futuristic sort of aspect to it. The premise seems all right in that regards, but there is no campaign in this game
Yep.
whatsoever. So it's online focused only. I mean, paying like $60 or $70 for this game with an online only sort of aspect, that kind of cringe a bit. There are gamers, there are hardcore Battlefield guys that will go through and just play online only. I respect that. I really wish that this thing had like a sizable campaign mode because hell, I'm one of the few like first person shooter fans. Like if I'm going to at least invest inside of the multiplayer aspect of it, I want to experience the single player thing. I want my bang for my buck, quintessentially,
Mm.
because I'm not one of
Yeah.
those PvP guys.
No. Yeah. I agree. It's a weird thing with the taking away the campaign. Well, I understand it. Like the Paris Lilly put it from Gamers Tag Radio. I think put it the best where it's like the only good Battlefield campaign was the Battlefield Bad Company games campaign, which are offshoot Battlefield games. They're just like we're just gonna have fun with it's basically Bad Company, and they put Battlefield on the tag onto it later. But it's like they were like Battlefield Bad Company games were like really really cool campaigns, like early to mid generation 360 PS3 era games.
Yes.
Um, and the rest of the campaigns, like I beat three back in the day. It was fine. It's totally forgettable. It's like a bottom tier Call of Duty campaign essentially. The best Battlefield game campaign, but it's weird. Like, okay, you're not doing a campaign, which, like I said, even if it's mediocre, even if it's an upper tier Battlefield campaign, it's still a middle of the pack Call of Duty campaign, which those obviously can be hit or miss as well. But it I heard people say, well, Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign, but I'm like, at least they added a fucking battle royale mode to this. Like, you're taking away a decent chunk of your game, which I mean, maybe it's probably for the best to get rid of it. Instead of having a subpar to mid par shooter thing, it's like
Right.
but you're not really adding. I mean, at least right now, as far as like this is like the first tease of the game. I mean, the 5 minute trailer didn't even have any fucking gameplay. It was a CG trailer, um, but you're getting rid of like a chunk of your game, a chunk of your selling point, but you're not adding really anything as of right now to it. Like you talk about some of your game modes. They're expanding on one of the like that's called I think it's called All Out World, All Out War, where it's like 128. It's like they used to have 64 player maps.
Yes.
Uh, and then this one on the next gen PS5 series. I don't know when we're gonna stop calling them next gen, but I mean we're still that's what we're referring to them. But the next gen versions and the PC version will have 128 player maps. The PS4, Xbox One versions will have 64 player maps.
Whoa,
So
okay.
whatever. I mean, it makes I get that. It makes sense.
So we're finally at
If
that
you,
point where we could actually face 128 players concurrently like Mag.
yeah, yep. We're yeah, we finally hit Mag 13 years
Oh
later.
God.
See that's the problem. Mag was just 13 years ahead of its
It
time.
was ahead of
If it
its
would have came
time,
out,
actually.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
definitely, yeah, yeah. Oh God, that fucking game. Um, but yeah, I don't get it. And it's just like it's so weird. So they're charging full price for this thing.
Yes.
$60 on last gen, $70 everywhere else. Um, they're doing essentially the thing that every online game does:
Yep.
Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, Destiny, Apex. What do all those things have in common,
They
Gables?
are free to play.
Exactly. So we're charging full price for a thing that we're taking away one version of a game, the campaign. We're gonna do the battle pass. We're gonna have the fucking skins they have to pay full price for. We're gonna have seasons. We're gonna do all that, and we're gonna charge you full price off the fucking gate. And this is why I hope to God you mentioned about maybe so they showed off one game mode. They're supposed to show off a second one soon, and then the third game mode will be shown off at the EA Play event July 22nd. And there's been that rumor of them being at the Microsoft event announcing that the Battlefield 2042 will be Game Pass day one. And that, my friend, is its best bet. I feel like this game could be great, but the problem is it's like the way now things work out now. The way gaming these big um, these big AAA online games work out now is they're free to play, or they're
Yes.
like a special case like a Rocket League, or I think which Rocket League is now free to play, or like a
Yes, it
Knockout
is.
City where it's like it's 20, but it's $20. You know, it's like they give you the first 10 days for free. Like we see some of these games come out that are technically good, but there's a paywall behind them. Where it's like people like
Right.
I could just play. I put in. I mean, ow! I hit my fucking hand on the goddamn
But you,
table. That's how passionate I am about it.
dude,
I broke a finger. It's not even day one yet.
but at the same time, you bring up a good point, and this comes with another point being it's like you cannot release an online only game nowadays and have it behind a $60 or $70 paywall because of how many more options there are and probably better options for a lot of different people depending upon what you're interested in, to play those free to play games. Like hell, even the game I play, Destiny 2, that's free to play. The only things you have to pay
Mm-hmm.
into is like the season pass things for the current season if you wish, or even the expansions and stuff. But
The annual the what $20 a year for the expansion that adds 10 15 hours of gameplay.
oh yeah, like those ones. Yeah, yeah, there are those ones, but it's like,
Yeah, but that's awesome. That's an awesome deal. I'm
yes,
paying $1 an hour for once a year for all new fucking
well, that's
gameplay.
very true too. It's like I much rather would play a free to play game, and this is going to be how consumers are going to think about this too. By the way, I mean we're the average working man. It's like you and I, we work full time, we do our things and stuff. We want to kick back, we want to play games. Like say we want to do a free to play game, like say like Fortnite or Apex Legends or
Mm-hmm.
Destiny 2 or whatsoever and stuff. We have those options even if we can't afford to buy any type of games whatsoever. We could still play them on a baseline level and still enjoy the content that we
Yeah,
have. Whereas Battlefield 2042, it's like it's behind a $60 to $70 paywall, no single player. It's multiplayer focus only with some aspects of it. So, God, EA better. I feel like EA had better have made some sort of deal with Microsoft in terms of having the thing on Game Pass day one because not only does it look anti-consumer in that regards already, but at the same time, you have your competition. Call of Duty has already done something similar, and it's fucking free to play, and that's Warzone.
yeah, and they do a really great job of tying in Warzone, probably the one or two biggest game right now in gaming, and you tie it in super duper well with your new brand new fucking Call of Duty game every year. So like they have figured it out. That was the big concern when they announced Warzone was like, okay, how they can do Warzone but also have an annual Call of Duty game. Well, so far it's fucking
Well,
working
they
because
found a way.
Black Ops Cold War sold super one of the best selling game Call of Duty games we've had in a long time.
Yes.
So it's like it's working, And we got Vanguard coming next year. They've already talked about what they're going to be doing with. We haven't even officially announced the next Call of Duty, and they're already discussing what the fuck they're doing with the next with how they're tying in Call of Duty Warzone or with the rumored Vanguard
Right.
game. Yeah, and it's like okay, it's only gonna get harder because Halo Infinite is coming out this fall allegedly, and it's gonna be free to play.
Sounds like a good
So
deal to
there you
me.
go. You just gotta buy the campaign or have Game Pass. So like, I mean, Battlefield went away for a while because Battlefield. I mean, which is crazy because I'm pretty good about like usually about like remembering big games coming out. Like
Right.
I'm usually pretty decent about that. Like I can like I'm not like I won't tie it to years super well, but for the most part I can tell you a lot of the big AAA games that happen. I had no idea Battlefield 5 was a thing that existed until it was free. It was a free PlayStation Plus game last month.
Yeah,
It's like, wait, there was a Battlefield. I thought Battlefield 1 was the last one.
that
There was a
game
Battlefield 5?
that game bombed so hard upon release in the corresponding months that literally gamers like you and I had no idea that game still existed until it dropped on PlayStation Plus.
Not still existed, ever existed. It's like, what? They made a game? They made a World War II Battlefield game? Okay, I don't remember this at all. So yeah, I thought the only Battlefield World War II game was 1943. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. This they put Battlefield. They like okay, EA's we gotta go back to the drawing board, figure this out about what's the future of Battlefield. They went from going from doing it every other year to all right. They took I think it's been like 4 years now, 3 years since it came out,
Right.
and you come back with this. Like I think the premise sounds cool. I would actually like. I like the more like near future first person shooter games. And,
Right.
like those are my two favorite Call of Duty games are fucking Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare.
Right.
Like I love that idea, and it sound like the premise sounds super cool about it's United States versus Russia, the only two superpowers left, and the world's gone to shit. Which just might be a little too accurate for my liking right now. But yeah, like the premise sounds cool. It's like they have this whole story thing to it, but it's like, why the fuck are you guys creating a story? It doesn't matter. There's no campaign. It's just you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Why tie yourself to anything? So I don't know. I yeah. I mean, I forgot they did the Battlefield 5 had the fucking battle royale mode Firestorm, which no one gave a fuck about.
Right.
It's the whole thing. When I read about it, like I was looking forward to hearing about it, but I was like, whatever. I'm like, this is what we're doing. Like Battlefield 2042 should just be free to play.
Right.
Like, or if you want to do the $60-70 thing and charge for it, then everything else should be free or like just charge for skins. Like the fact you're doing the battle passes and the
Charge for skins or expansions to it. I mean,
yeah,
hell.
I'm sure the
Yeah.
expansions will be free. Cause that was a big thing they announced with Battlefield 1. I remember was like, there's no season pass. That's a big deal. I mean, which is great. Well, I love when we got rid of season passes about 3 or 4 years back. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, this thing I feel like is gonna die on the vine, buddy.
I know I don't have the most positive outlook for the game and stuff, but speaking about potential games or something on Game Pass, let's talk a little bit about Xbox, Microsoft for this case and scenario
Yeah.
because they have been teasing things fairly hard going into their conference on Sunday. And there have been some little bits and tidbits of news today in regards to them going all in on streaming, not just in terms of a streaming stick, which apparently is a thing that they're doing, but they are in talks of actually having their Xbox Game Pass stuff integrated into TVs that are going to be going through. They've apparently made some deals with some TV companies in order to include their Game Pass app inside built into the current like 4K TVs. So the only thing you would really need is like being able to log into your Game Pass account on the TV and just use a controller. And that honestly, in my honest opinion, sounds pretty epic to be perfectly honest
Mm-hmm.
because you've got so many people now with that case and scenario that are going to be playing things on Game Pass. And on top of that, they may not be done. They're still talking about trying to put Game Pass on as many devices as possible. So there's no ruling out that they may actually put their Game Pass maybe on another console or maybe like another thing. That's the rumors that have been flying around. Nothing has been concrete, but what has been concrete is there is a streaming stick that they're coming out with that people can plug into their TVs or whatever the heck and have like a little dongle and then play Game Pass on there. But the biggest news coming out from today from Microsoft has been their Game Pass app on 4K TVs. That is crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean this is awesome, and it's like you were just talking about Elden Ring about
Mm-hmm.
giving players options, and it's like that's what Xbox really seems like it's been all about is giving gamers options with Game Pass, Series S, Series X, all these like now we're talking about TV apps and streaming sticks. Now it's kind of like when they really started talking about Game Pass and X Cloud and Series S, Series X,
Right.
people were talking about, oh, it'd be cool if they just like they were gonna be able to play these Game Pass games on our phones and shit like that, or our iPads or whatever. And it's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, what if we had it on TVs? And like that was been the kind of talk. And it's like they're doing it, and like
Yeah, they are.
who knows how well it's going to work out. So it sounds like the XCloud stuff. I think is like it's like so far like it's like a closed beta thing, but people are saying it's awesome and it works really
Wow.
really well. It's obviously not going to be like as great as like downloading the game onto your console.
Right.
Like it's the difference between streaming and having it downloaded are obviously way different. But I mean, if you're just looking at having like the big thing about like I mentioned this a few weeks ago about Xbox, really their main concern isn't about they of course they want you to buy the console. That's I mean preferably that you own the console, but more importantly, it's just about having Xbox in your ecosystem, having having Game Pass, having Xbox around, like Xbox just being Game Pass just being something you have, like Netflix or Hulu or whatever. It's like you just have Game Pass, and it's at a good price right now, $15 a month. Obviously, that's probably gonna go up to $20 probably a year from now or sooner. It's gonna have to because it's not
Yes.
making money. But if you get to the point where you're fucking on everything, and you're accessible from anywhere, it's like I no longer have to buy my kid this fucking. If you're a parent and it's like he wants an Xbox, you don't have to buy him, you know, a $500 or $300 machine. I can just pay, and then pay $15 a month on top of that, or buy a $60 game on top. I can just buy him fucking. I just buy him a. Every fucking TV is a smart TV now. Just buy him a fucking smart TV for 2, 3. Now he's got a brand new TV, and just pay $15 a month for fucking Game Pass, and like he's
That's a
in. Like
win-win,
that's a
especially if the
yeah,
streaming is on par like that has to be because there have
yeah.
been previous attempts. I mean, Google Stadia tried that, and that was piss poor from what I've understood from initial results from people.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of where like I don't want Stadia to fail. I
No,
have
I
a fucking
don't.
Google Stadia up in my up there somewhere in my kitchen. I've never even I think I took the control out of the box to look at it one day. I got it for free because I have YouTube Premium. And now they're giving. I think they're doing a big giveaway right now too for people. I can't remember what it's for, but basically they're just trying to. It's like I remember the top. I remember it was like a PAX one year where like the Ouya came out and nobody gave a shit.
Yep.
Or not the Ouya. What was that fucking the streaming box that came out in like 2008?
The streaming box that came out
Um,
in 2008
Remember, it was a console, but you bought the games, but you
on
only streamed
live.
them, and it died. Yeah, on
On
live.
live.
They like you just had to
Yeah.
pay like $200 for this fucking console. That was literally just a box that you bought the game. It was basically like hooked up to your TV like a console, but you couldn't. There was no physical games for it. You couldn't download the games onto the thing. You could only stream them from it. And you're like buying like old ass games and paying full price for it. And like eventually one year at a PAX, they were just literally you just go in the line and they just give you a free Ouya because they were just or not Ouya. God damn, not that machine. The OnLive um, console. They're just giving it out because they want people to buy the
Yep.
fucking just buy games for it, and it died immediately. And I mean, like we're talking about Mag being 13 years ahead of its time. That thing was fucking 13 years
Yes,
ahead of
it
its time as
was.
well. Um, yeah, so it's just, I mean, the problem is like I said this a while back about like when Stadia was first coming out. And it's like the problem is like Google has a bad history of just like creating something and giving up on it immediately if it doesn't hit as soon as it comes out. And then on top of that, it's like they don't have the the backing of games or they don't have like you can't just come in and like do this like it's hard to do like to come into gaming and just hit like like it's crazy just to think that like like there's a time where PlayStation, Xbox were jumping in, or Sony and Microsoft jumping into the gaming, and even Nintendo jumping into the game like no, that's gonna fail because they were like for every 100 people that attempted, or for every Nintendo that hit, every one Nintendo that hit, there's 100 people that failed.
True.
And the fact that Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo hit is a miracle. And it's like Microsoft can do this because it's fucking Microsoft, and they can afford to do it. And also they have Xbox that's got a fucking history of Is it the best history? No, but they have a great history of some really solid games that people love,
Yes, they do.
IPs that people love, and they have a lot of fucking money to spend, and they could do this, lose money on it for a while, and not give a fuck because Microsoft makes tens of billions of dollars in profit every 3 months. So this is a drop in a goddamn bucket for them. Like I talked about a while back when Microsoft does a quarterly thing for the stock market and talks about like profits, they don't even mention Microsoft or Xbox. It's not even they don't even care
Right.
unless someone asks questions. They don't give a shit. They just don't. They don't care. It means nothing to them. Um, so it's like they can do this. They can spend the money. They can do these attempts. Xbox is the only person that can do Game Pass that can really go. Sony couldn't afford to do it. Nintendo couldn't afford to do it like this, and it's like going all in on streaming. It's awesome. Like, and it's like I want Google Stadia to work. Obviously, it's not going to. They already closed the studios. They're
Yes.
basically giving up on it. Um, I want Amazon Luna to work. I want more competition. Is better for gaming. It's better for everybody. And like streaming is the future. Like streaming was the future of music. Streaming was the future
TV.
net like TV. Thank you. And I think I don't necessarily want to be the future because I think because like I said, I want it to be an option. Like we were talking about options,
Yep.
but I don't want it to be the future. But I want it to be a part of the future of gaming.
Exactly.
And I think it'd be awesome. Like the fact that like Gables like I have the Xbox Series S, but it's like you don't have to buy a fucking $300 console, $500 console. Like
I don't really if I don't want to.
if you don't really care too much about having 4K 120 frames, it does not gonna be better. You could probably do 1080p and 60 and be totally fine with it. Um,
Very true.
so yeah, so I think this is great. It's fantastic. I love this. I can't wait to try it out. I mean, it's not obvious. I have a Series S, so I'm not like gonna like do this all the time. But I can't wait to try it out and just see how it works. And this makes me incredibly happy for like this feels like the one real chance of if there's ever been a chance for streaming to take off of video games, this is it. And I hope it takes off. That just means more people will be able to play Xbox, which only means better things for the quality of these fucking. They have 23 studios. There's rumors there's gonna be three more acquisitions announced at the Xbox.
3. Whoa.
Yeah, it's all rumors, speculation. Um, but there's potentially three more. They have 23 studios, possibly 26, and that's only mean more better for them. That's more money. That means more people can play their games, and that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm all aboard this. I can't fucking wait for this to happen. I can't. As soon as the app comes out, I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna check it out day one. So yeah.
All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a little break. But in the meantime, stuff, just stay right there, everyone.
Gables is walking away. He has to go poop. I don't know what he's doing. He's walking away. It's so weird. Gables wears jeans while we record the podcast. I'm literally wearing fucking sweatpants right now, or not really sweat. They're PJs. Um, and then I put on like a gaming shirt when I record this. That way you don't see like the shirts my lazy shirts I lounge around in. So yeah. Of course I'll edit this out for the audio listeners, but the Twitch streamers and the YouTube listeners, this is live, baby. We do this raw. But pretty it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be crazy. Like forgot to mention this early in the show, but we are gonna be coming at you 5 days in a row. This is day one. Then we're gonna come back tomorrow, um, talking about I believe Ubisoft, and if anything else gets announced, and then Sunday we'll be back talking about Microsoft and I believe Square Enix, and then Monday is supposed to be Capcom, and I think WB is gonna show something, but I think it's just gonna be Back for Blood. Um, there's actually rumors also about Xbox possibly having Rocksteady, which they're the Justice, not Justice League. They're the fucking what's that Suicide Squad people, and also NetherRealm might be at their event, which would be awesome. So we might finally find out what the next NetherRealm game is. That Mortal Kombat 11 just came out. They had the DLC last year. Um, I'm hoping that there's that Marvel versus DC rumor. I'm really hoping for Injustice 3. Usually we get another role game every other year, and last year or this year should have been we get like every other May. Springtime was when they come out, and we should have gotten Injustice 3 on the schedule they're at this spring. Obviously, didn't happen. Um, but they did do the DLC expansion for Mortal Kombat 11 last year. So who knows? But I'm more hopeful unless they do some really cool with Marvel versus DC like a story mode. I really rather just have Injustice 3 because I really like I like Injustice more than I like Mortal Kombat, which crazy to think for me because I'm not really a DC guy whatsoever. But yeah, I've enjoyed the Injustice games. It's Evil Superman's pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, I mean Gables is gone now. I don't know what he's doing. He might actually be pooping. I don't know what he's doing. Hope everything's okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm running out of things to talk about. I am drinking a slightly mighty IPA from Dogfish Head. It's only got 95 calories, so that's pretty awesome. Probably at like 4,000 a day, so I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Oh, he's back. He's back. Everybody, act cool. Be cool. He took the hoodie off. He's getting undressed. Every podcast that we do, every time we come back, guys, every week, every day, we come back tomorrow, we're gonna take off one layer of clothing. That's what's gonna happen. He can't hear a word I'm saying. Everybody act cool. Be cool. Don't tell him what I said. What's up, Gables?
Oh boy. I am not even going to guess what you were talking about.
Don't worry about it, buddy. The less you know, the better.
All right. I'm just going to give a little bit of a pause, and then I'll continue on to the next.
Okay.
All right, and we're back. So for our next topic, we're going to delve into the NPDs for the month of, what was it, April? May?
Yep.
Okay.
April.
All right. So quintessentially, I'm just going to list it off, going from 20 all the way up to 1. So number 20, we had The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. 19, we had Pokemon Sword slash Shield. 18, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. 17, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 16 was Super Mario 3D All Stars. 15 was Animal Crossing New Horizons. 14, Minecraft. 13 was Super Mario 3D World. Number 12 was Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 11, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That was the 2019 release. And then now for the top 10, number 10 was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 9 was It Takes Two. Good to see that game is selling in the top 10. I mean, that's awesome. Number 8 is a new one right here with Returnal. Number 7, Monster Hunter Rise. Number 6, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 5 is Nier Replicant.
Nice.
Number 4, Outriders. Number 3, one of my personal favorites for this year so far, New Pokemon Snap. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And number 1, MLB The Show 21.
Yeah.
My God, that's a list.
Yeah.
There's so many. Well, first and foremost, the commonalities. There's so many Nintendo games
9.
that are here. 9, almost taking up like half of the top 10. But MLB The Show, number 1 for the month of April.
Xbox Game Pass game too.
Yeah,
That's
that is
incredible.
really exciting to see. I've never seen that game sell like at the number 1 spot.
Yeah,
That franchise.
it usually does really well in launch months. It's like usually like a top 5 kind. I don't think it's ever been number 1. And especially like I said, being on Game Pass. But I wonder if it's cross gen.
Yeah,
But I mean that thing sells on people buy PlayStations for that game. So it's on PS4 and 5, so that probably means something. But I wonder. I think it's on PC this year, isn't it? I can't remember.
I'm
So I
not
wonder.
sure.
I'm not sure either. I don't know if it's PC or not, but yeah, that's incredible. Good for them.
I'll tell you
And
what though, that
go.
like I said before, it's like that acquisition, that whole like that deal that Microsoft struck to get that PlayStation, that Sony studio and stuff to get it on Game Pass, man, that was a huge boost for them.
Mm,
That's going to make that series even more coveted now for it to actually go forth and like go forth for like the couple of years to come at least.
yeah.
But I will say that I'm glad that It Takes Two is inside the top 10 for terms of sales. That co-op game is excellent.
Oh
It
yeah,
definitely is worth a playthrough in that regards. For anyone that's even interested in like delving deeper what we're talking about, go forth and I'll kid you not, go forth, check out the Game Grumps. They
oh, I've been
have
playing it.
done. They have been playing It Takes Two. For those that want to get a little bit of like a familiarity or what the game is all about, you're basically playing as two parents, like the mom and the dad. So two players can split between being either like the mom or the dad and stuff like that. And you have to play through this campaign in order to turn yourselves back from being these puppets and stuff that your daughter pretty much imagined. So Tyler and I have streamed this on Twitch. We've
Yeah,
played through the entire game. So if you want to check our stream out of us playing through It Takes Two, it's on our channel for
yeah.
Twitch. Drunk Nerds, not Drunk
No, it's
Nerds.
it's 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 on YouTube now. It's gone off our Twitch channel. The VOD's gone, but I did put them on our YouTube channel. So
Okay, so on our YouTube channel, yes, it's on there. So for anyone else that wants to watch it, just get a little bit of experience of our experience through it. I mean, hell, but it's even better when you're playing with someone, live.
yeah,
But other than that, though, I'm very excited to see Near Replicant had a strong debut in the top 10. That series, I honestly feel like needs to get more recognition.
mm,
It started off as sort of like a niche, like on previous console generations. Near Automata definitely jump started that series into the stratosphere, in my honest opinion. It started with say Near on the 360 PS3, then Near Automata shot it up to the roof, and Near Replicant, the remastering of a game that was like a Japan only release, I think on PS3, made its way stateside, was remastered. Apparently, it's been getting all sorts of rave sort of like reviews. Gamers have loved. There are specific gamers that have loved playing this game. I really want to get to it at some point, but it all depends upon the time, the money that I got it going this year.
yeah, definitely.
But other surprises in this list, honestly, I'm not really seeing too much surprises because it's like the usual mainstays. I'm seeing though that Returnal had a strong debut. It debuted
Yeah,
at the number 8 spot. That's
yeah,
been a smash hit too.
yeah. It seems like it's really really well. And I think what's really cool about all this is like, so new Pokemon Snap and Returnal came out on the same day, on April 30th. So
Yes,
they had one weekend to get to these numbers. So that's incredibly impressive. The other
agreed.
movie, the show, came out on April 20th. Um, so yeah, it's just incredible. Like the Outriders being number four. Speaking of a day one Game Pass game, um, after being number three the previous month, still doing super duper well at number four. That's awesome. I love that game. I think it's really really cool. Um, it's definitely a thing I want. I definitely want the second one. I want more people to play that game. I'm happy that people are playing that game. Um, yeah, it's just new Pokemon Snap coming out number three. No surprise. People love Nintendo. People love Pokemon Snap. Um, I didn't love it, but I know a lot of people did really really enjoy it. So people that did enjoy it, happy for them. Um, Returnal coming out, Housemark, it's a big change for them, coming from being a more arcadey, coming out saying arcade games are just dead, and totally restructuring everything they were doing. They were like, I think they're making like a battle royale game, and then they canceled it to because they split the teams up to do all hands on deck to make it Returnal. Happy that's working out for them. Doesn't seem like it's my kind of game, but it's definitely a game I think people are gonna
Yes.
love. Seems people are loving. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like you say, it's definitely a lot of normal things we're seeing here, like Nintendo's being Nintendo. People are buying Nintendo games. 9 of the 20 games are Nintendo games. But yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter Rise still doing well up to second. So that's a technically 10 games because that's a fucking Switch exclusive. So half the list is fucking Switch exclusive games. So yeah, it's just it's nuts to see where we're at with this, and I can't it's awesome. It's nice to see some fresh blood too because the first few months of the year were kind of um lame because it was just like not a lot was coming out. Like I think it was Hitman 3 in January, and outside of It Takes Two, we didn't have much until end of
Very
April.
true.
So we've had a nice stretch of game releases since basically April 30th. Well, actually April 23rd because of new Replicant, which makes me very happy to see. Replicant, it's definitely a game I haven't got a chance to play yet, but that's just because so many games have been coming out, and then Mass Effect taking up basically the last 3 weeks of my of my gaming time. But that's definitely a game that once it gets a little slower for me after I get through the slew of um, Ratchet and Clank, Final Fantasy 7, DLC, and um, excuse me, Mario Golf. That's me next game I want to. God, fucking IPAs make me burpy again. These fucking IPAs, it's the same ones that made me burpy last time. Um, yeah, it makes me super happy to see Near doing well, and I want more Near, so I'm happy that it's doing well.
All right. With that said and done, I wanted to go through a re-clarification in regards to the whole E3 prediction stuff. So last week we made our predictions in regards to what we thought for each conference. And I wanted to try to reiterate like a lot of the rules and the guidelines just to remind the listeners or even those that are like first time watchers or listeners listening in. So for E3 this year, we have 5 conferences that we are going to, well, conferences or presentations that we are giving predictions for. A maximum of 3 predictions for most of them, except for the Nintendo one where we went like all out, essentially. I think we made like about 5 predictions each, wasn't it, Tyler?
Nintendo we made 5. The other
Yeah.
ones we made 3.
Okay. So for the most part, what it is like for most of the presentations we chose like about 3, with one of them being a double D point. For Nintendo's, we made about 5 predictions with 2 double Ds, actually. So in this regard, in this case in point, what we actually gone through and what we're aiming for here is the most points out of that for this prediction stuff wins. The loser, however, who gets the most like predictions wrong or has the least amount of points at the end of this conference stuff will have to play through the game Night Trap. Night Trap, the old retro game that was on the Sega CD, but actually is currently released on current like systems, like say for PS4, for Xbox One, for Switch, in that regards. So yes, whoever gets the least amount of points has to play through that game, has to stream that game. But there are other rules and guidelines for this as well. So if the pick released, for any type of picks that we release, for release date, they have to get the month right for 2021 or for 2022 in that regards and stuff. But I know there was like a little bit more that I know you had clarified in that regards, Tyler, because I
Yeah, it's
usually
just
have missed one or two.
no like basically it's just like we have the double D point where
Hmm.
you something you're super confident you get 2 points. If you get it wrong you lose 1 point. Everything else you get 1 or 0. Yeah, if you pick say a game's coming out in 2021 you have to get the month right, or you could just say if you just say 2022 you don't have to pick a month.
Right.
You just say 2022. I do want to say that we have some people in the chat. I want to say hello, guys. Thanks so much for
Hey,
watching.
hello
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Um, please like, follow, subscribe, click the bell. We really, really appreciate if you did all that. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much the rule. I mean, it's not like super strict, really. I mean, it's just more of a fun thing. Outside of possibly playing Night Trap, which not looking great for me right now, Gables, because we recorded the show Saturday night, the E3 prediction show,
Yes.
and we recorded it Saturday night, and I was going, okay, I'm going to release it Tuesday morning. Before the show even came out, I was already -1 and you're already +1. You've already got a commanding 2 point lead on me, because I picked Rainbow Six Quarantine would be the
Right.
new title for it would be Rainbow Six Parasite, which was actually wrong. It's now Rainbow Six Extraction, and you said Prince of Persia wouldn't be coming until 2022, which they
Yes.
did have confirmed now that it's coming 2022. So my double D was Rainbow Six Parasite would be the title. So because of that, I lose a point. You got Prince of Persia correct, so you get 1 point.
Hmm.
So already a 2 point lead. So it's not looking great for me right now, Gables. I felt pretty confident, but I mean, like I said to you, I told you, and you're like, it's early, Tyler. You're right, it's early. But
Yes.
it's like it's like when I watch football and the Packers are down, like it's 14 minutes left in the first quarter, and the other team kicks a field goal. I'm like, well, it's over. They lost. I just need to go. I'm gonna take a walk now, and um, you know, just that's the rest of my day ruined right there. So it's 12:06 on a Sunday, and my day's ruined. Um, so
But there have been some more things that have been coming out throughout the day also with which there was a leak that was going around in terms of Ubisoft stuff,
yeah, oh,
which clarified.
Ubisoft has leaks. Who would have thought?
Well, yes, obviously they're going to have some form of leaks in that regards, but they're like a freaking bucket that can't even get their damn thing all patched up. It's still just oozing, this leaking water everywhere,
It's
you
like
know. It's,
it's like that scene from Vegas Vacation where Chevy Chase, I can't remember what he does, but like he pulls something off the wall at the Grand Canyon and it starts leaking water. So he starts chewing up bubble gum and like plugging the hole with gum, and then
yeah.
another hole pops out and
Oh
there's more
no.
water spewing out, and he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna walk away." That's basically Ubisoft at this point.
So today we actually got leaks in regards to not only just like Daniel Ahmad on Twitter, but also from another person that's fairly prevalent upon the leak scene. I forget his name in that regards.
Nibel is one.
Nival. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nival and stuff. Who's been correct in the past in regards to past like leaks and also things in regards to other gaming releases, other gaming news. But there is a sequel to Mario plus Rabbids. Apparently, it's going to be that has been confirmed that's going to be unveiled. Now, it's going to be at the Ubisoft presser or Nintendo presser. It has not been clarified, but it's called what was it? Sparks of Hope.
Yeah, Sparks of Hope, something like that. It was something electric. Is what I was getting out of it. Yeah, I mean, but that rumor's been out for a while now, and that's like while both you and I had Mario plus Rabbids 2 being announced at Ubisoft press conference for a double D. Unfortunately, you're an asshole, and you took it from me first. But you picked November, so I still got a shot. It's probably gonna happen.
Yes, there's actually a clear possibility I could get that whole prediction wrong and stuff, especially if they decide that they're going to release it, say, in early 2022, which that's fairly possible as well.
Or just put it out right now, please God. No,
Oh
not
my
right now. Wait, no, that's bad. I got too many games to play right now. Give me like,
god.
give me a month. Put it out July 16th because nothing important is coming to the Switch that day.
Oh. Oh, you would be jonesing if they like just release them say like in August or some shit or just like, some just like
Oh
just
God,
like a month or two before I
oh, I'd be so happy because not only would you lose a point, I get the game faster. So
But the most positive thing about it is like it's a new Mario plus Rabbids game. The first
mm,
one was a great game. I
mm,
wish you would have put more time of it into it when the game released in that regards, but it's a fun game. It's an XCOM style Mario game. And that is so crazy for me just to describe it, but yet it is a fucking good game.
it's a great game. It is, according to my list from 2017, 5 games better than Breath of the Wild, which that is in fact law uh, for that list. So yeah,
All right. I'm going to go ahead and introduce this topic. So it's going to be something that we kind of talked about before we started the pod with this podcast recording tonight and stuff. And I kind of want to celebrate an anniversary of sorts. So today of this recording, June 11th, this marks the 20-year anniversary since the release of the Game Boy Advance. And you and I were kind of talking about things like how we acquired like our Game Boy Advance stuff. For me personally, I was like about 13 at the time. So it's like I basically got a whole bunch of stuff done in regards to schoolwork, in regards to getting good grades and stuff. My mom ended up helping me buy a Game Boy Advance alongside Super Mario Advance. And let me tell you something, man. It's like I remember that summer well because I played a hell of a lot of Super Mario Brothers Advance. It was fun collecting the red coins, going through and just noticing how things were kind of blurred, like just remastered up until that point. Because quintessentially, they took Super Mario Brothers 2, the remake thing from the All Stars version of that game, just kind of blew it up a little bit on the handheld, and it ran fairly well. It was a fairly good port of Mario 2. But as far as favorite games goes, I mean, God, I put so much time in the Game Boy Advance. It quintessentially was the Super Nintendo of handhelds at that point, because a lot of the ports of Super Nintendo games would make it onto that system. But some of my favorite games, obviously Ruby and Sapphire. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Those were good Pokemon games in my opinion. But one of my favorite games, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. The whole me getting into the Castlevania series was due in large part because of the Game Boy Advance. I had a friend. He let me borrow Circle of the Moon. I played that game. I loved that game. But Aria of Sorrow, that's the game I personally put on layaway at Walmart. At that time, I paid my money in order to get that thing, and I played through that game like about 3 or 4 times in the span of that 1 year because I collected most, if not a lot of the souls in regards to the monster souls in that game. But I love the music, love the whole character design stuff, and quite honestly, in between games like that and also like underrated games like Gunstar Superheroes and Astro Boy Omega Factor and like whatever, that system, that handheld was so instrumental. And especially when they had the re-release for like the whole Game Boy Advance SP. I mean, hell, I remember playing a hell of a lot of like WarioWare, the Mega Micro Games stuff,
Oh, so
where those mini games were so amazing. Going on to school trips, like
good.
high school trips, like across the state and stuff like that, and just have my Game Boy Advance and my charger and like just playing some WarioWare, dude. It was freaking fantastic. But
Yeah. I remember like I was telling you for the show because I remember like my birthday May 7th. So I remember I had my birthday money and I was like I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna buy a Game Boy Advance when it comes out, and I had been 12 at the time, um, and I was like I'm gonna hold my money until it comes out. And I'm gonna buy it, and young dumb kid couldn't hold the money, and
yeah,
didn't spent the money before it came out. And my parents I ended up getting it for Christmas that year, and I remember I got Super Dodgeball with it and F Zero, which I was terrible at F Zero. I played the shit ton of Super Dodgeball. I always remember playing Super Dodgeball and like naming the characters after me and like my friends and shit. So it added a little more to it. It's like when people like play XCOM and they like name them after like their friends or people they know in real life.
oh
So it adds
god,
a little more, drama to it and stuff. It's like I do the same thing with Super Dodgeball. Um, yeah, it's definitely like it's kind of a weird history like with Game Boy Advance. There's not like a lot of like I played my Game Boy Advance a lot, but a lot of it was like me playing games because I didn't have like a Nintendo home console at that point. So I was playing a lot of like the Game Boy Advance versions of like main console games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 or things like that. Like I played a lot of that, or like a lot of wrestling games would get ported to Game Boy Advance, and I play a shit ton of like I think it was like WrestleMania 2000 or something like that. I got ported to that. Maybe it was No Mercy or something like that. Got ported to it, and I played a lot of that. Um, and like one of the ones I remember the most playing was Game Boy or on Game Boy Advance was Golden Sun.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Loved Golden Sun. Like that was my first like foray into JRPGs. Like before that, the first RPG I ever played was Pokemon. That was my only one, real
Hmm.
influence on that. And like Golden Sun was like, like oh okay, it's basically to me it was like it's the Pokemon gameplay, but it's different. It's basically just copying the Pokemon gameplay format, which that's what I understood at that point. I didn't really know what Final Fantasy was. I was a young dumb kid. Now I'm just a grown dumb adult. Um, but playing that and like loving that game. And then I remember I remember getting game Golden Sun 2. That was okay. I didn't really care for that one too much. But
Oh,
yeah, I
Lost
just
Age, yeah.
yeah Lost Age. That was fine. It did a weird capturing thing. They really copied Pokemon in that sense. But yeah, like it's just I remember it was like Golden Sun really sticking out because that was like I said that was my foray in playing JRPGs. That's why later on went back and I played. I had like the Final Fantasy 1 and 2, the original ones from NES, ported on there. I mean honestly that's I played a lot of ports on my Game Boy Advance. That was like my
Yes,
big memories from Game Boy Advance, just playing a lot of old ports on that thing or console ports on that. That was basic because that I wasn't like a console gamer at that point. Like really up until like I got the GameCube, I didn't really play a lot of console games other than Metal Gear Solid on the PS1.
dude, that's how I experienced like ports Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6, I mean, those ports were so good with that regards because I never played them through in the Super Nintendo. 5 didn't even come to the US until like the PS1 release back for like anthologies, I believe it was. But playing through those type of ports, and the ports for the Game Boy Advance were actually fairly competent. There were
Mm-hmm.
some that were kind of a little bit kind of gimped because of the sound or whatsoever. The limitations of the Game Boy Advance is like
Yeah,
sound
but
chip
that's just
stuff.
Square
But
Enix with Final Fantasy. Like the shitty ports is what they do.
well, not necessarily for that, but I'm more or less talking about the Donkey Kong Country games that were on the Game Boy Advance because the music on the original systems for the Super Nintendo, those were fantastic. Those were custom made specifically for the sound chip for the Super Nintendo. But hearing them kind of a little bit lesser quality in terms of the Game Boy Advance, I mean, yeah, that wasn't like the best, but at the same time, they were good playable ports, in my honest opinion. But well, unfortunately, listeners, everyone, this is the end of our show for this week. Once again, let me go forth and tell you where we can be found. On Twitter, we are Drunk Nerds Pod. For Facebook, it's Drunk Nerds. Twitch, Drunk Nerds Podcast. YouTube, Drunk Nerds. On Spotify, Drunk Nerds Podcast. And to tell you guys for and like to tell you guys beforehand and stuff, we will be covering a lot in regards to E3 stuff. Quintessentially, whenever a conference gets done or a presentation gets done for the next, well, honestly, until like maybe about Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, we'll try our best to put out content, fresh takes as they go through and happen. So for tomorrow, I know that we have a Ubisoft press conference that's going to be around noon my time, maybe like about 1 year time, I believe it
Two.
is. Two? Okay. So there's definitely going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be going down that Ubisoft presser. And of course, obviously, the Microsoft Bethesda thing, like conference that they're going to go through on Sunday, that's going to be honestly one of the most important ones to watch. And then obviously Nintendo Direct coming on Tuesday, that's going to be one of the main things as well.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting a lot of good things from Microsoft, Bethesda, and also from Nintendo's presentation.
Yep.
But
We
most
got Square
importantly,
Enix as well on Sunday.
yeah, Square Enix is going to be on Sunday as well. I can't forget them, that company as well, because there could be some stealth surprises that are going to be happening. I mean, I'm open to the possibility, but my excitement level for E3 this year, it's a little bit elevated this year, obviously. 2019, the last E3, it was kind of like meh. It was kind of a little bit under expectations. Keanu Reeves definitely played in large part to make it more memorable to a lot of gamers, including myself.
Breathtaking.
But yeah, my excitement's a little bit more like elevated than normal. But Tyler, how are you feeling and stuff? What's your excitement level for E3 this year?
I'm definitely. It's something we talked about a few weeks ago, where it's like I was hearing a lot of rumors and stuff, people talking about like that news, some things, and it's more about keep your expectations. Like COVID hit harder than we recognize. COVID's still hitting hard.
Yes.
Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, like COVID in Japan, COVID is worse than it's ever been for them.
Right.
So I mean, they're still going through it. Like we're like like here in the United States, we're seeing that light in the tunnel. Things are opening back up.
Yes.
Um, and like yeah, so we're definitely like for us it's like a whole different world here where it's like we're like oh things are going back normal now. It's like it's exciting, like concerts are happening again, and I'm gonna go see Fast Nine in theaters here in a couple weeks. Like that's
There you
fucking
go.
awesome. Yeah, it's just incredible. It's just like I was thinking about this. It's like we were talking about like E3 2019. I was telling you before the show like just getting into like an excitement of it. I went back and like watched some of the old press conferences from 2018, some past ones too, and just kind of like getting back into like the hype, into the moments of it, like the things that because we didn't have obviously one last year, and it's like there's a lot of things to bitch about E3, but I love it. It's my favorite time. There's my two favorite times of the year for gaming are E3, number, but number one actually, most importantly, Extra Life. E3
Yes.
is a close number, is the close number two though. But yeah, I love it. But as I was thinking about it more and more, it's like there's a lot of these people doing press conferences right now. A lot of even ones aren't doing it. We have a lot of games announced that are just that we know about. So it's like a lot of people are saying expect more details and stuff that we already know about. Don't expect to be new stuff, or don't expect like big things coming that we don't know about coming soon kind of shit. Don't expect like kind of like we had like Fallout 4 was announced at E3, then came out 4 months later. Don't expect shit like that.
Right.
Like because I started like making a list in my head, and I ended up coming and writing it down. So I just want to run through real fast. So bear with me.
Okay.
So for Xbox, things that we know in fact about: Avowed, Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, Fable, Everwild, Forza Horizon 5, Two Point Campus, Cuphead DLC, Hellblade 2, Perfect Dark, Starfield, Ghostwire Tokyo, Elder Scrolls 6, Deathloop, Indiana Jones. That's stuff that we know about from them, from
Right.
Bethesda and Xbox. PlayStation, I know they're not E3, but they are one of the biggest ones out there.
They will
They have
definitely have a presence.
yeah, they'll have something probably. They should have a state of play this summer. God of War, Horizon, Ratchet just came out, but Simon is going to go away for a while. Firewalk Studios, they have that multiplayer game they announced. They just announced that they have a partnership. I can't remember the name of the studio they just announced. Yesterday they're making a game for PlayStation. That's another game. Solar Ash, Stray, Ben's new IP they just announced. Haven, the new studio that they're dealing with Jade Raymond. They announced they're working with them. Gran Turismo 7, Last of Us multiplayer is supposed to be coming sometime soon. PSVR 2, Deathloop, I already mentioned that, but it's coming to them. Ghostwire Tokyo, Kina, Little Devil Inside, Jet, Goodbye Volcano High. Those are things that a lot of those things were just announced last year.
That's
Um,
true.
Nintendo, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild 2, No More Heroes 3, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Pokemon Legends, Splatoon 3, Mario Golf, Skyward Sword, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and then Project Triangle Strategy. Ubisoft, Rainbow Six Extraction now, Riders Republic, Far Cry 6, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, they mentioned they're working on, Roller Champions, Beyond Good and Evil 2,
Sam.
Skull and Bones.
Oh my
Not to
god.
mention, all of those people I just mentioned, they also have, except for PlayStation, they have live service games they're still working on, especially like Ubisoft. They're
Very
working
true.
on Valhalla Legions. They have what's that fucking fighting game that came out a few years ago? Rainbow Six
Um,
Siege. Um,
for Honor, I think.
For Honor, yeah. So it's like, and on top of that, they all have like a lot of these things don't have release dates.
Nope.
Aren't like are they like we don't know like they're coming 2022 or yeah some of them coming soon. So it's like a lot of shit's been announced. And it's just more of like when are they like now it's like at the point now where it's like when are they coming? Like we gotta start putting dates on some of these things. Um, so that's like where my expectation is. Like I think we're gonna hear a lot more about things we already know about, which is I think would be pretty awesome because like I said, a lot of those games like I'm yeah some of the most exciting things that come from E3 is the surprises. And I think that's gonna happen for sure. But I think more so this year is gonna be more about like giving us details about things that we know about, and that's I think honestly I think some would be as exciting. Like I said, like because a lot of these things I mentioned, we haven't even actually seen gameplay from. We just seen some
No.
like teasers or like we just know they're being made. It's like fucking uh, Bayonetta 3 and Metro Prime 4 were announced 40 years ago,
Yes.
and all we had was a title card from them. Obviously, Metro Prime 4 they had to completely restart development 2 years ago, so that's probably
Yes.
ways off. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just think when I hear people say keep your expectations checked, that's kind of what I'm looking at from is like they didn't really say why, but I think it's more so just like don't expect a lot of new shit that's gonna be announced and come out soon. I think it's gonna be a lot of like here's more details on shit and maybe here's a release window. And I think like
Right.
things are definitely way different now because of COVID, obviously. So things like it's hard to put dates on things, which I would rather them like maybe give a window, but don't give us a date. Like don't say January 21st. If you're not 100% sure about it, just say early 2021 or early 2022 or first half 2022, something like that. Like, um, I think especially Cyberpunk has also changed things. I think for the for the better. They had to fall on that sword where it's like, okay, well, like let's be a little more sure about it. Like I love
Oh, for
like I
sure.
really liked we talked about last week with like Horizon, where it's like we're on pace for 2021, but we're not sure yet. I love that. Just I love like that's something that we talk about with Xbox. Is like what is it like? They're just we don't get a lot of surprises from them because they're just super fucking honest about things. There's not a lot of leaks or rumors that come from them about things because it's our because it's like when it's bad they just tell us, or if it's good they just tell us. It's just like so I appreciate that, and I think a lot of gamers do too. Like we'd rather have that than leaks, rumors, and like what the fuck's going on over there kind of shit. It's like a lot of bad shit was coming out about PlayStation last month, and we're all freaking out. And then like they've been pretty open and honest the last 6 weeks or so, which has been pretty good turnaround. We forgot about all the bad shit, and now it's like okay, things aren't looking too bad over there because it's like oh, it's been really quiet, and all the rumors coming out are bad. It's like now they're being honest. It's like oh okay, cool, cool. So yeah, I mean, I definitely like I'm going into because I'm hyped as fuck. It's been 2 years since E3. I have a lot of that pent up frustration. You just gotta go work one out in the fucking bathroom real fast, kind of thing, or you're gonna kill somebody, situation. That's where I feel like I'm at with E3. So, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, obviously it's E3. It's awesome. Even like, yeah, E3 2019 wasn't great, but still enjoyed it. It wasn't like, it's even like even like a mid tier Christmas where you just got a lot of clothes. The fuck are you doing, Louis? He just knocks something over. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I think he's still mad at me about the Souls thing. Um, even a mid tier, uh, you know, Christmas. We just got a bunch of underwear. It's like in socks. It's like, hey, I got more underwear and socks. You got something out of it, you know.
Yeah,
So you can't.
really.
It's hard to complain.
All right, everyone. That has been episode 433 of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I have been your host, Colonel Gables.
And I've been Tyler.
So, until next time, everyone, I hope you have yourself a fun E3 week. Definitely keep in touch in regards to keeping up with some of our content. We will be recording multiple shows. I'm not sure how many. We do not know, but too sweet, everyone.
Too sweet. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just pay attention. I did the too sweet too early. I'm sorry. Just pay attention to our Twitter account. I think right now the plan is we're gonna come at you like 5 days in a row. This will be being day number one. But pay attention to Twitter account. We'll try to like update times because it's gonna be kind of we're not gonna be like doing normal times. It's probably sporadic. So as soon as we get a word, I'll post on Twitter. The kind of around about time will be on Twitch. But expect for the next 4 or 5 days, 6 days, whatever. If you're an audio listener, you're just gonna have new podcasts every day, multiple podcasts, pretty much every day for the next few days.
All right, then. Well, see you later, everyone. Happy E3.
Yep. Happy E3, guys. Bye, guys.
See ya.